regular monthly meeting of the Anderson County Budget Committee. It is Thursday, July 8th, 4 o'clock p.m. Rob, if you would, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fritz is absent. Commissioner Creasy? Colin Rowe.
Oh, you're present. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Commissioner Denenberg?
Here.
Commissioner Waddell?
Here.
Commissioner Smallridge?
Here.
Commissioner Jameson?
Present.
Commissioner White?
Here.
And Commissioner Val.
Here. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. Commissioners, if you would join us, please, we're going to ask Don Long of the American Legion to lead us in prayer, and then we'll ask Jim Brewery of the Legion to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for the privilege of being able to be able to say that we live and are born in a country like this that has the freedom that we have. We thank you, Lord, for allowing our military to be able to give us this freedom. We ask you to put your hands of protection on our military that are now currently fighting so this country can keep us free. We ask you, Lord, to help our veterans as they still struggle, as they come home, they try to fit in, Lord. We ask you, Lord, to put your hand on this community here, this Anderson County, that every decision that's made will be made from the heart and their mind that will glorify you. We ask you this in Jesus Christ's precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Everybody please face the colors. Hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everybody will remain standing for 1 second, let's give a moment of respect for our POWs and MIAs, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your all doing that for us tonight. Commissioners, if you'll look at the agenda, if you would permit me, I would like to move an item to the top, considering the presence of our guests today. The American Legion of Oliver Springs, I'd like to go ahead and move them up to the next item on the agenda. Is there any objection to that? Hearing none. Robbie, you actually have you have an amendment form on that?
No.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner McCain made a motion to refer to the Budget Committee the $7,500 donation to the American Legion of Oliver Springs, and it was seconded by Commissioner Val. And that's just the referral back to you all.
To bring everybody up to speed, this was passed by the Operations Committee and sent on to full County Commission. County Commission has voted to send this item back to the Budget Committee, so that's where we are now. So do we have a motion on this item?
I make the motion. The motion that Robert McCamey initially made was contingent on Roane County and Morgan County also making a donation to help repair the roof, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
And that is the motion I'll make, the same as Robert. I was hoping Robert would be here so he could repeat the motion.
I have it right here if you'd like for me to read it.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Commissioner Wandale made a motion to put up $7,500 for American Legion of Oliver Springs to get a new roof subject to Oliver Springs, Roane County, and Morgan County in assisting. That was the motion.
So that's your motion, Commissioner Creasy?
So there were three.
Second by Commissioner Denenberg. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner White?
The ideal of Rome County and Morgan County contributing, I think the American Legion needs a roof, whether Rome County or Morgan County comes through with their part or not. And they may have already, I don't know for sure. But I think if Anderson County is going to do it, we ought to do it without any kind of restrictions on that motion.
Would you like to amend the motion to remove the restriction?
No, I'd leave that to Mr. Creasy, but
That's fine with me, yeah.
So you move to change your motion to remove the restriction?
Yeah.
Seconder of the motion, okay with that?
Question, Mr. Chairman. By the amendment, would we still be at the same amount? are you talking about a full amount?
I think Commissioner Josh Anderson was going to appear here, and he may still show up. He sent me a message today letting us know that he would try to appear here today. As most of you all know, Commissioner Anderson has started a GoFundMe page to try to help with this endeavor as well. If I can find his message, if you'll give me just a second. He has raised, with the GoFundMe page, he says, $2,655. And he will be turning that over to the American Legion in whatever process there needs to be for him to do that. I don't know that much about that process. So we've got that. Our current motion is $7,500. So I guess the question now to Commissioner White or Commissioner Creasy is, does the motion need to start over again with a different dollar amount, or are we just removing the restriction and keeping the $7,500?
Here, I got a comment.
Yep. They're planning to go before Morgan County and Roane County. And I say they, I should say we, I'm part of that same organization. And I want to try to help and get a hold of the Anderson County commissioners that represent Roane County, those that live in, I should say Oak Ridge, the Roane County commissioners that live in Oak Ridge. And hopefully they'll be able to come through too, but is Josh's GoFundMe, is that ended now? Because I haven't contributed to it yet.
I think so, Commissioner Creasy. It may still be ongoing, but I know he was going to turn the $2,655 over to him soon,
Right. Yeah, I plan to contribute to that as well.
as do I.
But we'll be going to them, and I guess whatever we get, however we get it, I don't know what the commission won't do. I would go for the 7,000 now, and just keep the motion at 7,000,
7,500?
7,500.
7,500.
So we're removing the restriction that the other ones have to, or we're going to keep the restriction that the other counties have to participate as well? Wait, let me get this straight first.
Yeah, I just changed the motion. Jerry suggested it.
Okay, go ahead.
I would just think that they probably already have an idea of how much money it's gonna cost to replace the roof. So I would guess that's why they're asking all of those entities for $7,500, because that's going to take all of that money to replace the roof. So without everybody being involved and everybody giving, then the roof doesn't get replaced. Also, I was under the impression that we were doing the GoFundMe page to fund this project instead of using taxpayer funds that were not paid in for this purpose, for this project. So I'm gonna vote no for the amendment, for sure.
Well, I guess my question is, do we even have an amendment? The original motion was 7,500 contingent upon the other counties participating. And Commissioner Denenberg seconded that motion. Commissioner White's point was to remove the restrictions, not as an amendment, to see if the maker of the motion wanted to change his motion. If Commissioner Creasy.
That's a hard decision because I don't know what the other counties may do. you
Right, and
know.
if we give 7,500, as Commissioner Waddell pointed out, it might be for naught,
Yeah.
because 7,500 plus the GoFundMe still wouldn't be enough.
I think that's why that contingency was in there, was so that.
And I think it's the city of Oliver Springs too,
Okay,
and the two counties.
so do you want to leave the motion as is, Commissioner Creasy, with the restrictions on there?
Well, I'd hate to go against my fellow commissioner, Jerry White.
They're going to need a roof regardless of what we do.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I have one
Yes, sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
What's the roof gonna cost? 22,000 or 7,500?
Our roof right now, the lowest estimate we have is $15,500 for the roof. We have another additional $7,000 to $8,000 expense for the ceilings and the insulation and the mold that this is starting to cost.
Okay.
And plywood has got to be replaced, and we're looking at a total of about $21,000. Now, we're asking Anderson County for $7,500. Now, whether Morgan County or Rome County gives, and we're not gonna keep begging them, we're still gonna have to do a roof. So if you all donate $7,500, we're gonna go out here and do whatever we gotta do in the way of other fundraising to come up with this money. Because we're not getting a whole lot, we've been to Morgan County twice, and it's always, I'm going up, but they never do it. But a roof in the meantime is coming down. So if we get $7,500 from y'all today, and most of us are from Anderson County, by the way. Our building is in Morgan County, but 80% of our members are Anderson County members. And we took on Oak Ridge when they closed down because American Legions are closing down because they can't get any help. We have no grants, no funds, no way the government's gonna help us, but they want us to help veterans and everybody else, which we do our best at. So, we're gonna get a roof on there one way or the other. We're just asking, we got $7,500 from y'all plus this GoFundMe money, that gives us a start, and we're gonna go out and raise the rest of the money, whether Rome County or Morgan County gives it or not. We gotta have a roof or we're gonna close our doors. So, I'm asking you, we don't need a restriction, we just need help. And your money will be used towards a roof regardless how much you give. If we have to go out here and sit on the streets, we're gonna do that and ask for donations to get this roof done.
Thank
Can I
you.
have a second?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, something was mentioned a while ago, and I heard that the tax dollars was not meant for this. I have paid Anderson County taxes. I've lived in Anderson County for 43 years, so I've paid my dues, okay? And to my knowledge, the American Legion has never approached you guys for anything. And we don't just support our veterans, we support our communities. 2 years ago, we gave over $15,000 of toys away and serviced 400 families for Christmas. And that's from Bustin' Our Tail, with no money given to us by the government. Our people in Nashville do get paid for their jobs. We don't. I've put endless amounts of money of my personal money in this, and I'll probably continue to do that. You know, that's just how it is. But I guarantee you, anything you guys do to help us will be recognized daily. Everywhere we go, we have a sign that will be with us to let people know who takes care of us, okay? It'll be on TV. It'll be on radio. We're not asking something for nothing. And if you guys will just take a moment and think about the number of people that we help on a daily basis, that should make some difference. But just like when I joined the service, I was from Anderson County, but I enlisted in Knoxville. And when I enlisted, I didn't say that I was going to protect Rome County, Anderson County, or Morgan County. I said I was going to protect the United States of America.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll amend the motion to, from what I've heard from our commissioners and from the audience, I'll amend the motion to make a donation of $7,500.
So the motion is to approve $7,500 without any restriction, just $7,500.
Yeah,
Second to the motion is okay with
Second
that?
the motion.
All right, so the motion on the floor, Commissioners, is to approve the $7,500 to the American Legion. There is no restrictions requiring the other counties to participate. That motion does have a second by Commissioner Denenberg. Now, any discussion? Commissioner Waddell?
Just to respond to that, we actually did make this body made a donation to the American Legion just a few months back in Clinton for a building that they're trying to build. So we have donated to American Legion before. But to my point, and since Commissioner Chuck Fritz is not here, I'll just say it. This body, a long time ago, decided that we were not going to take taxpayer funds and donate it to nonprofits. We have served, hold on, sir. We have needs in this county that need to be met. We turned down Isaiah House, which is a great, great nonprofit. They're wanting to build a house in this county for kids that are taken out of their homes that have no place to go. And we turned them down. So all I'm asking for is, let's be consistent. If we're gonna donate to nonprofits, let's do it right. Let's have a committee to where we can do that. But if we're not, we're picking and choosing who we're supporting here. And I voted no and will continue to vote no until this committee or this commission gets together and makes a committee to decide who we're gonna support and who we're not. But us just picking and choosing up here, it's not great. I've gotten a ton of comments from people out of my district. They're wanting asphalt on roads. They're wanting better fire service. We just loaned, we're loaning, just remember, loaning 75,000 to Briceville, is that correct? Is it 75,000? We're making them pay us back. But last month, we gave $50,000 away to a nonprofit. It's our own fire department that we're not willing to donate money to, but we donated to a nonprofit last month, $50,000. I just think we need to start looking at this. We keep saying we're going to, but we don't. And we keep getting people, and I'm not saying it's a worthy cause. Of course it is. But we just can't keep giving and giving and giving to everybody that comes up here. I can't believe we didn't give to Isaiah House. I didn't vote for it because I'm not for donating to the nonprofits until we get something back in writing what we're gonna do. But y'all have heard it before, so carry on. Sorry to take up your time.
Any further discussion?
Question.
Commissioner
I
Smallridge?
think the other night when this motion was voted on in the full commission, it required 2/3, is that correct?
Yes.
That was commission, yes, that's why it got sent back to us.
Now.
Because hadn't come through us, that's
Right,
why.
but now it will not just be a majority
That's correct.
vote by
That's correct.
commission. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
That's correct. Any further discussion? Couple of points to that. I've done some research on the rule that we voted not to fund nonprofits. Actually, what I have found out is that we didn't vote not to fund nonprofits in the past. We voted to disband the nonprofit committee. So I would like to make a motion, after we get through with this one, I'll be making a motion later on in the meeting to reband the nonprofit committee. So just to have that on the commissioner's radar. Also, for the Briceville Volunteer Fire Department, as Commissioner Waddell said, we did vote to give them $75,000. It wasn't really a loan. I think we're not going to be giving them as much in our annual donation to them until the amount's paid off. I think's how we worded that. Just for clarification on that.
They said they were gonna forego $5,000 of what we normally give them in order to pay back that
Right.
75.
I just wanted to clarify
So, it's a loan.
they weren't paying it.
We're loaning the money up front and they're paying it, they're giving it back.
Commissioner Denver.
And that was the way the presentation was brought to commission. There wasn't an ask. They came with an offer,
Right.
and we accepted it.
Yeah. So the motion on the floor is $7,500 for the American Legion. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
Motion carries. Members of the Legion, thank you all for being here this afternoon. This will continue on to the county commission, which will be meeting a week from Monday. If they vote to approve that, then it's done. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
We have food, karaoke on Tuesday night, Bible study on Thursday night for everyone as well. It don't matter where you live. That's good cooking too, don't depend on us.
Thank y'all. All right, moving on with the agenda is our amendments and appropriations. Go ahead, Robbie.
I'm gonna do the cash and fund balance.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Restricted funds, $776,441 from the general fund line. Committed funds, $2,053,830. Assigned funds, $2,029,147. Unassigned fund balance is $5,851,182 to bring the total fund balance at $10,710,600. Cash at the end of June was $16,988,964, which is up a little more than $5 million from last year at this time. So, and keep in mind too, June is not closed. We won't close June till the middle of August or later than that even. So the unassigned fund balance and some of these restricted codes will grow. So,
Any questions for Robbie? All right, continue.
all right, sales tax. The month of May was up 43% for the county as a whole. Anderson County's portion was up 93% this month. It was our second highest in 2021, third highest overall. So sales tax, as I say each month, just continues to do well in sales tax.
Any questions on that? Commissioner Smallridge?
Robbie, I noticed that April and May this year compared with April and May of last year, there was a jump, combined jump of almost better than $600,000. And any reason? I know it's been up every month, but that's a tremendous jump it took in the last 2 months. Yeah.
I can only, probably the money that's been, put into the economy from the government for unemployment, how many children, $300 is it, child? I'm not even sure because I don't have, my children are too old for that, but, Denver.
I don't know. I tried to opt out of it. I stayed on the phone for like 4 hours, so I don't even know yet. But
Okay.
I'll let you know when I know.
I'm surprised that it's that high, and I still think it's one day we expect any month that this could level off some, and I do expect that, but it is really, the last 2 months have been really good for Anderson County, our portion.
Any further questions for Robbie? All right, continue.
All right, our first budget amendment is from the Circuit Court. It's an appropriation for $30,000 from its data processing reserve for data processing equipment.
Commissioner White moves to
Second.
approve. Commissioner Waddell seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no.
Poor
Motion
Rex-
carries.
Poor Rex didn't get a chance to speak.
You can say hello if you like.
But no, just so you know, we do, every case that goes through has a few dollars added every case, and it can only be used for data processing hardware. That's the only thing we can use this money for.
Right.
So we've got 30,000 reserve, we'll put another 25 in this year, so that's what we collected, so.
Keep
Thank
processing.
you.
Thank you, Rex.
All right, the next budget amendment's from the Finance Department for me. It's $26,000 for the maintenance agreement. We did this last year for our, we're upgrading our payroll in NextGen. And at the end of June, I had to put the money back to the reserve, and in July, moving it out again, because we're not finished with it yet. It's still ongoing, so I'm needing that money back. And also, Brian has, our server, our LG server needs updating, so he's asked me to update that also. So this is what what's $34,000.
Commissioner Denenberg moves to approve. Commissioner Jameson seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries.
Okay, the next budget amendment is an appropriation from Clinton Library from their dedicated reserve, $2,414.05 to their building maintenance for an HVAC unit. And the city of Clinton is paying half this, so this is half our portion.
Commissioner Smallridge moves to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Denenberg. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Creasy.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, there was 2 amendments, one was 3 and one was 4.
Yes, I just did them separate because the other one's from Rocky Top, so
Yeah, right, okay.
we have so few of them, I was just taking them all separate today.
And we're splitting the
Yes.
cost of that with Clinton,
With the city of Clinton for this
Yeah.
HVAC unit,
right.
yes.
Thank
Do
you.
what?
Just dragging it out.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
I can take the next 8 if you like. All right, from Rocky Top Library, $20,000 from their committed funds for furniture and fixtures for a new circulation desk and other furnishings.
Commissioner White moves to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Creasy. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Commissioner Jameson, go ahead, sir.
What kind of furniture fixtures are costing $20,000? Just for information.
I don't
It's
have,
not my library, but I can probably answer because I was in that meeting.
Okay.
I believe that one of the larger things that she's getting is a new circulation desk, and they are very pricey.
A circulation desk.
Yeah, the big desk right as you walk in, so that people can come up to. They're huge and very specified and usually custom built.
Do you have wine decanters with that?
No, unfortunately not, no. The one that I bought year before last, I think ran 12. I would have to go back into my records. I believe she's also getting some couches and tables and upgrading furniture in the library itself as well. But I do remember her specifically speaking to a circulation desk.
I'm sure that you shop around to find out what is a good deal.
Oh, yes, of course. This is not my library. Y'all already approved my air conditioning unit. Thank you very much. I'm glad to not be sweating anymore. But Rocky Top I'm sure she is getting quotes as well. I know I always get 3 at least before I pick something.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you're welcome.
Any further discussion?
and always the library budget amendments are approved by their board before they come here, or they wouldn't come here, so it's been approved by their board.
Commissioner Denenberg.
2 county commissioners on the library board.
I would just ask that they itemize next time.
More specific.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
It's hard to get that.
I'm sorry.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries.
Okay, the next budget amendment's from Solid Waste, Mr. Trabalka. It's $3,800 from their restricted for public health. And
Commissioner White moves to approve.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jameson. Any discussion?
this is for site plans and permitting for the new West Wolf Valley Convenience Center too, just.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries.
The next appropriation is from Family Finance and Family Justice Center, Randy Walters. It's putting what money is left from the Family Justice Access to Services grant on the books this year. So this was approved last year, but they didn't spend all the money, so we're putting on the remaining funds on the books this year.
Yeah, that grant started in May, so they just got into it.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Denenberg moves to approve, second by Commissioner Waddell. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries.
Okay, on the next appropriation, it's from the Law Director's Office and me. It's, when Jay made his presentation, there was some misunderstanding about some of what he wanted. And also, I've added some medical insurance because we know now what the new employees wants, and that can be a big cost to a department. So this is just increasing for the increases for the misunderstanding.
I'll make the motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Denenberg. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries.
Okay, I can take the next three as a group if you'd like. They're all from Mayor Frank. The first one is for, it was something that was approved in commission, the civil engineer for Pine Meadows. It's the $8,500 from unassigned fund balance, but it's actually already been approved by commission and the funding, but we're just doing it in this fiscal year because I think that's I'm not. Mr. Yeager made the motion.
Where is Pine Meadows?
That's what we're trying to figure out. I know. I remember we talked about it, but I can't remember where this was.
I may have something on it.
I looked back and it doesn't, it's not specific.
Let's just look it up on Google.
I think this was for the Ben's Mobile Home Park. Okay, so, okay, then it's Ben's Mobile Home Park. Yeah,
That's what,
well, there's two Ben's. Well, they're all owned by Ben, so I guess that's, I guess that, yeah, right. Okay.
Do we have a motion?
oh, well, I'm taking these as a group. So the next, well, let's just do them individually. It'd be easier. Because there may be questions on the other two.
Do we have a motion?
What, could we have a question for information, please?
Sure.
If somebody could just possibly refresh my memory, which I've slept since then, what is it that we're going to be doing?
Commissioner Yeager made a motion to approve the contract with the civil engineer for Pine Meadow subdivision preliminary assessment for no more than $9,000. They're gonna do, it looks like in your third page here,
Yeah.
it explains surface, utility locating, video documentation of utility conditions, structural engineering, geotechnical investigation, and roadway or utility design services.
I think there's a lot of codes and fractions
No.
down there, so they're just trying to get some help with that.
Step of trying to solve that problem.
Right.
I'll approve, a second.
It needs a motion first. You want to
I
make the
thought you
motion?
made one. No, I thought one was made. Never mind, I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Denenberg to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smallridge. Any discussion?
Who has told us that we need to do this?
I think it's been in process for a while. Robbie, what's the background on this as far as we figured out it needed to be done?
I think all you gotta do is just go down there and you'll see that it needs to be done. It's,
I wish
Pretty
Commissioner
horrendous.
Fritz was here because he could really
Yeah.
speak to it more, but I know that it's for an assessment of the Pine Meadow subdivision. This is a trailer area in Claxton that has been the subject of much discussion over the last year. Commissioner Fritz wanted to go ahead and move forward and for me to put it on the mayor's report instead of waiting another month, which that was approved in June. Really, we don't even, I mean, honestly, commission voted unanimously to approve this too, so it didn't have to come back to budget committee because funding was approved then at up to $9,000. This is $8,500, so really,
You just wanted
the mayor's
Clarif-
put this in there because we moved into a new fiscal
Okay.
year.
all right. Yeah, I can see that.
So there's no work gonna be done, it's just gonna be look and see what needs to be done.
That's pretty much correct, yes. That's what it sounds like.
And Jeff couldn't do that for us?
I can't speak for Jeff.
Just seems like we're, well,
I'll just read it's for subsurface utility locating, video documentation of utility condition, structural engineering, geotechnical investigation, and roadway utility design services. I think we need someone who's in that business all the time to do something that extensive. Why I made the motion?
Well, that information would be good information for our codes enforcement department.
Professional.
If there's any code violations,
we've got a lady in that in that office that's pretty sharp.
I know,
I wouldn't think too many things could slip past her, but,
that was just my guess.
yeah. I'm for it, I vote aye, I just,
further?
9,000 is 9,000.
And Waddell and Fritz were strongly behind it,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Okay, the next budget amendments for Mayor Frank for $18,800 committed for industrial land, restricted code, to industrial development contribution, $18,800. I'll just read the explanation, and also Mr. Wallace is here and can speak to this if you need more further. Anderson County has set aside funds for a matching grant with the state of Tennessee and TVA for property in David Jones Industrial Park via ACETA. We have learned we are eligible for a larger grant that would also allow for the development of the site of a pad-ready state. Before applying for the larger grant to ensure the site does not have issues, sinkhole rocks, etc., we would like to conduct an ERT resistivity tomographic survey and an FDMM, which I'll just leave that as the initials. Both would be eligible for partial reimbursement from the state. So possibly get some of this money back that we're spending if we get the grants.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner White moves to approve, second by Commissioner Jameson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
All right, and the last amendment from Mayor Frank is $8,500 from the state direct allocation grant to general administration, other contracted services for the witness rooms, construction documents, construction administration services, witness and attorney and client rooms for courts. This request is for production of complete construction documents for witness waiting rooms and attorney-client rooms for the courts.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jameson, second by Commissioner Denenberg. Any discussion? I'm sure the judges will be very happy about this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
And the last budget amendment I have is an appropriation from the Highway Department for $500,000 from restricted for highway to asphalt.
Commissioner Waddell moves to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Denenberg. Any discussion? Commissioner Jameson, go ahead, sir.
Of the road superintendent.
Yes, sir.
How long will that $500,000 last you?
Oh, we could probably lay it for 5 days.
5 days?
Yeah, depends on the inflation of gasoline, that has effect on it, and it takes about $100,000 per mile, depending on how far you're hauling it, and how wide you're laying it.
$100,000 per mile.
So we'll be having further requests for.
Well, it's just the budgetary ad, but it depends on our money and the price of the asphalt, yes. But yeah, we could spend $5 million in 6 months, but yeah,
Is it expensive, more expensive now?
yes, sir. Every time gasoline goes up, the price of asphalt goes up. It's a petroleum-based product, and they tie it to the opioid index, and it goes up
Okay,
quite
thank
often.
you.
But no, thank you all. And
Any discussion?
try to cover them up.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Okay, and in the last commission meeting, I was asked to put, thanks, Gary. In the last commission meeting, I was asked to put the sports gaming privilege tax. There was discussion in the commission meeting about giving this revenue to the volunteer fire departments. But as I was telling Shane earlier today, there are strict rules behind this money, and it can only be used for infrastructure projects, including transportation and road projects in public buildings. The county legislative body will determine the county's infrastructure priorities. I don't think we can just divvy up this money and give it to nonprofits, because it also says that this money will also be audited heavily to make sure we're using it for those purposes. So I don't think we can use it for that purpose. We can just let that bill. Right. We're putting it in a restricted code, so whenever, we do have a building need or any kind of, any fund, we can transfer it to any fund, but that's what it has to be used for. Okay?
We've already taken care of the American Legion. New business. We don't have a vice chairman, and I don't have a gavel, but who would like to sit in as vice chairman while I make my motion? Commissioner Creasy, would you do the honors, please, sir?
Closer.
I do have one more.
I make a motion that we recommend the county commission to reforming the nonprofit committee, and I so move.
I'll second that motion, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to reaffirm the nonprofit committee. Any discussion on that motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Commissioner White.
I disagree with that. We are all adults with some amount of intelligence. And Chairman Waddell made a statement a few minutes ago, we pick and choose what we want to spend money on. I think that's a privilege for this commission to pick and choose what we want to spend money on. In my office, when I start going over my budget, I put $3,000 aside per year. And when Mrs. Jones or Mr. Wilson calls for $75 donation or $150 donation, I choose right then whether I want to do it or not. And if I do that, if I choose to donate, then I subtract that $150 from that $3,000 and I go for the year. Deduct, 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 deduct. And at the end of that money, I don't donate no more. I think it's good that we can sit here as commissioners and pick and choose what we want to do with the taxpayer money. That's my opinion. I'm not against the committee, but I remember when we had the committee, most of us would come to that committee meeting and we would all put in our 2 cents worth. So the committee, it's a hard job. And I remember why we abandoned it, but I just think that we've all got our favorite charities that we donate to individually, and then here as a group, we can donate as we want to when the need arises. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Commissioner White. Commissioner Waddell.
I think Jerry just pointed out a great point. It's our favorite charities that we're donating taxpayer money for. The taxpayers paid their money in for fire service, for services that they can't provide themselves, fire, EMS, roads, schools. That's what they pay money in. That's what I keep hearing from my district. I'm conflicted on a nonprofit committee because honestly, I don't want to donate any money to the nonprofits. I think I don't want to donate any tax money. That's what my money, that's what I decide to do with my money, just like you said. And if we do form a committee, I think that, again, Jerry brought a very valid point. I think there should be a certain amount of money put in that, and once that money's gone, it's gone. There's just no rhyme or reason for what we do. Like I said, we donated $50,000 last month to a group that's going to do pretty much the same thing that our drug court does, in a way. It's to help people get off drugs. We do that, but then we don't help Isaiah group with little kids that are removed from bad homes. And that's one of the things that aggravates me. I can't sit here and make sense of why we donate to this one and we don't to this one. So there needs to be some criteria if we're going to donate taxpayer funds. But I keep hearing lots of people they thought donating to the veterans was great, but they were concerned about what is it going to be when it's something that I don't agree with? How are they going to feel about it then? Lots of people were upset we didn't donate to the Isaiah group. So, like I said, I just don't think taxpayer funds need to be donated to any nonprofits. I think we have a lot of things that need to happen here in this county. We have employees leaving every day because we don't pay enough. We have small cities paying more than the county does. We have highway needs. I get calls every day about roads that needs to be patched. And like Gary just said, $100,000 a mile. A mile, 1 mile, $100,000. I know that Nathan would probably like to have a couple of more ambulances in service. To be honest, our county, the way it's growing, we're gonna need that. In my district alone, I drove through Arcadian Springs last night, and they're preparing another building site for possibly 2 houses. There's 1 house just got built and 2 houses already built. There's over 100 houses in that. The place on Sinking Springs, across from Sinking Springs, is gonna be 200 houses. Guys, we have to, you told me a year and a half ago, we have the power here. We need to watch what we're spending. We need to be concerned about every dollar we're spending. But in a couple of years, we're gonna be up here raising taxes again because we're giving all of our money away. We're spending it on employees that are leaving because they can get jobs elsewhere making, I just had an employee leave the sheriff's department off my shift. He left and he's making $5,000 more a year, better benefits, better insurance, works from home half the time, and it's for the state of Tennessee. Oliver Springs PD is paying more than the county is. Norris PD is paying more than the county is. Guys, we've got to look here, solve our problems, and then if we've got money left over, let's give it back to the taxpayers and let them donate it where they want to. But I don't feel right sitting up here choosing where I take money from and then choosing to donate it where I feel it should go. I just had a post on Facebook. We have like a contract, okay? Our citizens pay in tax money. We take said tax money and we provide them services that they can't provide themselves. They can't go out and contract fire or EMS or police protection. They can't go out and contract somebody to pave their road. That's what our job is here. If we've got enough money to donate money, we need to return it to the taxpayers.
Thank you, Commissioner Waddell. Commissioner Denenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I really have a question regarding what was done prior as far as the commission not voting to give money to nonprofits. Now, is it a situation where we need another committee formed? Or do we need to just remove the restriction? And then, like Commissioner White just pointed out, we're reasonably intelligent people. We know what our constituents want. And then we can go forward or not, depending on what it is and what the need is, plus or minus. So that's really the question I have at this point in time.
Robbie,
Finished,
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Commissioner Shane.
would it be possible, Robbie, to find the minutes and try to find out? Because I'm hearing that we never said we're not going to give any more to nonprofits. We just disbanded that committee. And I think to Catherine's point, that would probably point us in the right direction. And all the concerns that Commissioner Waddell has pointed out, whether or not to give to nonprofits or whatever, I think that committee would be the funneling committee that would be able to answer those questions that he brought up. So my motion, just for clarification, is to recommend to county commission to reform the nonprofit committee. However, I think Commissioner Denenberg has a good idea. Maybe we should wait and get the ruling first, or find first what the rule was. So if it's in order, I'll go ahead and withdraw that motion until we get that answer. And Robbie, if you would add this to the agenda for next month, and if we can get that answer, then we can move forward on this.
Thank you, Commissioner
And I'll
Shane.
withdraw my second.
I've got a couple of questions. Robbie? How much money does Anderson County spend on nonprofits, approximately?
Well, we are any money that's budgeted for nonprofits, we have to put in our appropriation resolution, and the only, in section 6.1, in fact, let's turn right to it. The Anderson County Chamber, $490,513 total.
How much?
$490,513
$490,000 out of how much money total?
out of our total budget.
Of our budget, yeah. And what percent is that?
Who was that to?
Say less than 1%.
Could you repeat who that was to?
That was for the budget.
No, that's total. That was all
That was
total.
budgeted. That's not what we give away up here. That's what was budgeted.
Thank you.
$6%, almost 2%.
Out of 1.6% of our total budget,
Out of the general fund budget, yes, sir.
okay, how much is the general fund budget total?
30 million
30 million?
over, it's 30,155,210. This year's budget is.
So is what percent of that?
1.6%,
1.6%.
yes.
I agree with Commissioner White. I think this body should make the decision about if we're going to do this. There's no reason, Commissioner Waddell, there's no reason for him to be on a committee about this because he doesn't want any of them to get anything. So he'd be wasting his time to be on that committee. Also remember, if we do set up a committee like this, it's got to come back to us. Isn't that right? The
Yes.
committee always comes back here, so why do we want to lick the calf twice? You know,
I don't want to do it the first time.
I think that we've got a system, you know, we all have things in the budget that we really like, and some we don't like, and some we hate. But that's why, this is what's called democracy. We get to vote right here. And, if, you know, $2,500 to this organization was asking today, that's
7,500.
peanuts.
70.
7,500, excuse me.
It was
7,500.
50,000 last month.
Yeah.
Just keep adding it up and it's not peanuts though.
Well, it depends on what you think is important.
It's a cashew.
And that's what we are, that's what we're elected to do. Is to provide the services and needs of this community, of this county. And we'll never agree, everybody will never agree on every item there. But I don't see anything wrong with what the amount that we spend on, nonprofits. We're getting a deal for that investment. That is an investment, and I think we're getting more than our money's worth. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, yeah, can I go back
ahead,
to,
go
yeah, I
ahead,
want to
go
go
ahead.
back to Commissioner Val. You withdrew your motion,
That's correct.
and did the second and everyone
The
else agree?
second withdrew as well.
Okay, so we'll turn the gavel back over to Commissioner Val.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Tracy.
All back to you.
I'd just like to make a couple of comments.
Well, Bob Smalley had something as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
First of all, I don't think it's a requirement that you be for something to be on a committee. In fact, I think you gotta have some for and some against it. But one of the reasons why I would like to see the committee formed is to set up criteria for what we're going to qualify up front. So for say, there has to be certain criteria that we will look at donating for. And it'd make it easier on everybody. If these are the things we set up we're gonna donate for, then that's fine. They run through the committee, they have to meet certain criteria, certain amounts. Like I said, $50,000, you know, $7,500 to the American Legion, yeah, it sounds like peanuts, it's nothing. But 50,000, that's a lot, that's an employee. That's one employee here at the county. So that is substantial. I guarantee you, if you ask Nathan, hey, Nathan, do you want me to give you $50,000? Can you hire somebody? Yeah, right, right. So, you know, it is substantial. It creates a job for someone, and it creates a difference in his organization. So, that was my only thought about the nonprofit committee, is that we would have rules and guidelines that we would go by. I wasn't here for the committee, but as I understood, and it's just what I've heard in the meetings, I think there were rules and guidelines, correct? Or were there?
I wasn't.
Chuck speaks to it all the time. He knows more about it than I do, and I've just listened to what
And
Chuck said.
if we put it off for a month and get the answer to the question as far as whether or not we were limited in giving it all, then Chuck will be here next month, and then maybe we can revisit that. Robbie, if you would, be sure it's on the
Yeah,
agenda for
but
next month.
that 490,000, that's what's budgeted. That's only what's budgeted. That's not what we're handing out up here. So it's the 490 plus whatever we hand out here. And I would just say, I never even thought about it. Jerry White brought up a very great point. It's just a great point. We budget for everything in this county. If we are going to donate to nonprofits, we need to budget for that, and we need to put it in our budget, and we need to know every year if we're going to donate 500,000, then that's what we're going to do. And when we run out, just like you said, it's over till next year.
And that's a great excuse.
Yeah. Well,
When Mr. Jones calls, you say, I done gave all, I'm gonna give it.
I just think that's the way it works with, I mean, you brought a very valid point. That's the way it works with everything else.
Well,
And-
reason, not excuse.
And we also, we have waste management funds. We have a budget. Once you run out of yours, you're out. So, you know, if you want money to go to somebody else, you gotta sweet talk somebody else into giving it. So I think it's something we need to speak about. Thanks.
Next item under
I
new
think
business.
I think Bob had some.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead,
Yeah,
Bob.
Robbie, I wasn't clear. You said we have 490,000 budgeted.
Any nonprofit we give to, we have to put it in the budget, that's in the budget every year. And the fire truck is one of them. All the volunteer fire departments, we give 27.5, I think, to.
I'd like to get sometime,
Oh, sure.
get a list of that.
I can give it to you.
That's reoccurring.
That's reoccurring.
Yeah. And then also what we've done on top of that.
Okay, I made a note, try to figure that out too, because I knew that was coming up. That was gonna be a
Yeah,
question.
good luck.
Robbie, I think you also
I have one budget amendment.
Yes, go ahead.
This was in the budget last year, the tourism enhancement grant that, I didn't do this exactly. I know, I left two on, forget those two that are in the middle there, but it's 144,500. It was 150,000 last year, they spent 5,500. This is just putting what was unspent on the books this year for that grant in the conservation.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Denenberg moves to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Creasy.
I have a question.
Commissioner Jameson.
So this means they've got several thousands of dollars, right, that they haven't spent?
Yes.
Is this 72,000 that's not spent?
144,500. It was a $150,000 grant, $75,000 grant, and a $75,000 match that commission approved last year. So all that rolls into fund balance. So to get it back on the books this year, we have to do another budget amendment to get it to roll forward.
Well, do you have any idea what they're going to allocate this money for?
It will be for the parks out at Anderson County Park. It'll be something, it's an enhancement grant, and it's it's put in the Conservation Code, which is Anderson County Park. So I'm assuming it's gonna be something at the park, maybe a larger boat dock. I can't tell you that for sure, but it'll be used in that park.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Any other items under new business?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Commissioner White.
If I could go back to, I don't see the page, it's a page before page 8. So I guess it's 7?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is 7, it ain't marked, but it's 7. On the, if I may, on the county attorney medical insurance, $20,904, is that for the entire office?
That's just for 2 employees, the 2 additional employees that they're having. Yes,
And that's just the county's portion.
that's just the county's portion, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's not theirs.
$10,450. Thereabouts.
Well, it's a little more than that. I had I had additional in there, so I put single. Can't really talk about the coverage but I
So
had
what's single coverage cost?
like 5,000,
5,000?
Yes.
And family coverage is 15?
15, yeah.
$15,000 an employee.
We're self-funded, that's why it's so,
Plus, the employee's paying about $400 a month.
Wow.
That's why I'm saying we have issues. Other places, their insurance not near that high. They don't have the amount of employees we have either, but their insurance not that high.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other new business?
yeah, I think Nathan would like, he had asked to discuss vehicles.
Okay, is that under new?
It can be new or old. We
Don't
discussed
matter
it
to me.
last month, but, so it can be old, I mean.
Okay, old business.
Yeah.
Come on up, Nathan.
Sorry, Nathan. we didn't
New,
give
old.
your money away. We already gave your money away, sorry. Good to see you.
Well, then this meeting is adjourned.
About some shingles.
Actually, I just asked if it was going to be discussed. So 2 months ago, we discussed vehicles. And this body said they would discuss it next meeting, which was June. And then it wasn't discussed in June. And then it's not on the agenda for this meeting either. So I just,
You and Captain Sharp were here, right? Both of you?
2 months ago,
Right.
when I had just appealed to you all to consider on the capital outlay vehicles so we can get in that line sooner than later to wait for those vehicles, because the line's getting longer. And I just wanted to, ask if you all would consider that and move forward. I'm asking specifically on vehicles because of the shortage, because of the problems they're having. And there's going to be a time period that you have to get those.
Yeah,
What did we say last?
yeah.
So 2 months ago, there was a lot of ideas thrown out, and then we were going to come back 30 days later and discuss it more in depth.
I think
So
we're
the
gonna wait
thought
till
was maybe half now, half later. There was some talk of the money from the state, 600,000, that maybe we use that on the vehicles and then decide what we're going to do for the vehicles that doesn't cover.
Part of the problem too is the fact that there's such a lag time from ordering to actual receipt of the vehicles too.
Correct.
That was
So
another
we
issue.
won't be paying immediately. I mean, I imagine, I haven't looked, I imagine the patrol cruisers might be quicker to get. Ambulances, I'm hearing some vendors, it's a year before they deliver. Where it's typically 4 to 6 months, now it's 8 to 12 months. We don't know, we have bids out, they close on Monday. But for me, I'd like to be able to move now so that I'm not waiting till fall of next year to.
I hate that the mayor's not here. I think she had a lot of ideas on this.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting a $602,000 grant from the state.
Right.
But the mayor, me and the mayor had talked about this, because I said, I think this could come up, and she said, I've already talked to Nathan, and it can wait till next month, and then Nathan emailed me and said, can we talk about this month? I said, sure. So,
I think it'd be better to wait till next month as well. I'd like for the mayor to be here. Also, I think it'd probably be a good idea to get Captain Sharp or Director Mays.
Just make sure it gets on the agenda
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's do
and
that.
I guess ultimately, I was just asking, can we add this on the agenda at some point, because
Sure.
it's not.
Just
And
go ahead and order 'em, and, I mean, if we don't get
You
you the
got the money in your
you-
budget, right?
You can,
Just
you
go
can
ahead
take
and-
it,
yeah, is that a motion?
you can take it out of your pocket. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
in
don't
your-
care. You can pay for it.
Denver's already offered me 50,000 in an ambulance.
Yeah, that's
today.
what I heard.
It was that karaoke comment
I was
earlier.
trying, but they gave it away. They gave it to somebody else. Sorry, Nathan.
So
Sit down.
ultimately, that's just, if we could maybe ask to put that on the agenda and maybe have some discussion.
Okay.
You said the bids will close
Monday.
So you'll have, by the next meeting, at least some idea as to the numbers, or the
Correct.
amount of money?
Yeah, because I asked the vendor if we could work off the last bid, and they said no, because the price has changed.
Of course.
You're gonna try to get two?
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking about 300,000 probably?
More than that,
More?
about 390,
You had 393 on your.
393.
On your capital outlay plan, and the
Because we
sheriff
didn't
always
do,
has
we didn't do
400.
a box and a transit this year. We did 2 boxes.
Commissioner James.
One last thing.
Mhm.
Old people like me remember sayings and how they have influence on our society. There's a saying called straining a gnat and swallowing a camel, or swallowing a whale. We do this every time we meet. We have pet things that we will swallow and vote for. We have things that we hate and we vote against it. And so we're all guilty of straining a gnat and swallowing a camel.
I also like the saying, don't tell me your priorities, show me your budget. I'll tell you your priorities.
Yeah.
Any further discussion, any more business coming before the committee?
Chairman, I thought we left last month wanting Nathan to get in line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next month, if it could be him and Captain Sharp.
No, I
and-
meant for the ambulances. I thought we agreed. I thought we wanted him to get in line. He said the line was getting longer for the order. I thought, I was under the and I forget sometimes things, but I thought we had asked him to get in line and we'd work out the budget through.
I think we were kind of concerned about if we could use that other money, if we went ahead with the process also. We were concerned about,
A lot of times we use rollover money, we don't know that yet.
right,
Because it's mid-August. We can use the state appropriate this new grant, but we will not get this till the end of the month. I mean, Nathan does have a fund balance that could buy 2 ambulances if he wanted to, if you all made the motion to take it from his restricted funds, and then maybe we could replace the money. That
I think that's where we are to go.
possibility, you could
Ultimately,
do that today.
Let's get in line.
You're not gonna pay until later, but you have to have the money in the budget to get a PO to make the order. I mean, that,
I think
I
that's
don't know,
where.
the mayor said, hold on,
I want to wait till next month.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to call for a vote, but I don't think it's necessary.
that's fine. Real ultimately was, can we just get it on the agenda?
Okay.
Maybe just start the discussion and be
Well,
ready.
you can bring the quote back.
Yes, sir.
Next month, so I mean, we
Yes,
can
sir.
be ready to act next month.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And go.
Good idea.
So, hopefully, I'll let Captain Sharp know that they need to get something and they can all come back and we can figure
Yeah.
it out.
Commissioner Smaller.
You know, we talk about capital outlay, we've talked about grants, American Rescue Plan, we've talked about other grants.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, pull this together where we can take, you know, where we can charge things, where would be the best place to charge them. And, you know, when we have that discussion, I think it needs to be
Clear
in that context. I'd like to know what we're dealing with.
What kind of charging of things are you talking about, Commissioner?
The capital outlay, any capital outlay.
What funding sources we're going to have versus
Where's the
what?
best place, where can we charge these? There's some rules, like the American Rescue Plan has certain things we can charge there and certain things we can't.
Right, no, I just wanted a clarification as to,
We don't know yet, right?
didn't know if Nathan was going to up his charge on transport or something.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Just wanted clarification, that's all.
Any further business coming before the committee?
Nope.
Hearing none, we're adjourned. And they're so happy.